Respected. If you're over 50 and you've quietly accepted low energy, restless nights, or weaker erections as just part of getting older, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what if one simple nighttime habit could help your body recover, sleep more deeply, and support the natural vitality you thought was gone forever? There comes a moment in every man's life when he stands in front of the mirror and realizes something has changed. Not all at once, not overnight, but little by little, almost without noticing. The face looks familiar, yet the eyes seem more tired. The shoulders are still strong, but they carry a different kind of weight. The body still works, yet it doesn't respond with the same enthusiasm it once did. Many men over the age of 50 experience this silently. They don't complain. They don't tell their friends. They certainly don't bring it up at family gatherings. They simply accept that getting older means sleeping less, feeling exhausted more often, and watching their confidence slowly fade away. But here's something I've learned after years of listening to men from every walk of life. Aging is unavoidable. Suffering unnecessarily is not. One gentleman, whom I'll call David, was 62 years old when he came to me. On the outside, he looked healthy. He walked every morning, rarely missed a day of work, and always smiled politely. But beneath that smile was a man who hadn't enjoyed a full night's sleep in years. Every night he would lie awake staring at the ceiling. He would finally drift off, only to wake again at 2 or 3 in the morning. By sunrise, he felt more exhausted than when he had gone to bed. As the months passed, his energy disappeared. His motivation vanished. Even the intimacy he once treasured with his wife became something he quietly avoided because he feared disappointment. He blamed age. His friends blamed age. Even his family believed it was simply what happened after 60. But sometimes the body whispers long before it begins to shout. Sleep, energy, and sexual health are deeply connected. They are not separate problems. They are different branches growing from the same tree. When sleep suffers, hormones begin to change. When hormones change, energy declines. When energy declines, confidence begins to disappear. And when confidence disappears, many men stop believing they can ever feel like themselves again. What surprises most people is that the body is constantly trying to repair itself while we sleep. During deep sleep, important hormones are produced. Muscles recover. The brain clears waste products. Blood vessels relax. The heart gets a chance to rest. This nightly repair process is one of nature's greatest gifts. But what happens when your body doesn't have the nutrients it needs to complete that repair? Imagine trying to build a house without bricks. Imagine trying to repair a car without the right tools. That's exactly what happens inside the body when certain vitamins and minerals are consistently lacking. Now, before I tell you about the vitamin, I want you to understand something important. There is no magic pill. No vitamin can erase decades of unhealthy habits. No supplement can replace balanced nutrition, regular physical activity, proper medical care, or treatment for underlying health conditions. If you have persistent erectile dysfunction, severe fatigue, or chronic insomnia, it's important to speak with a qualified healthcare professional because these can sometimes be signs of conditions such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, sleep apnea, low testosterone, or medication side effects. But for many healthy men, correcting a nutrient deficiency and improving nighttime habits can make a meaningful difference. One nutrient that deserves attention is vitamin D. Many people think of vitamin D only as the bone vitamin. That's only part of the story. Vitamin D receptors exist throughout the body, including in muscles, the immune system, blood vessels, and even areas involved in hormone regulation. Research has found that low vitamin D levels are common in older adults, especially those who spend less time in the sun or whose bodies produce less vitamin D with age. When vitamin D levels are low, some people experience fatigue, muscle weakness, poorer sleep quality, or reduced overall well-being. Some studies have also observed an association between low vitamin D and erectile dysfunction, although this does not prove that vitamin D deficiency directly causes erectile problems, and supplementation is not a guaranteed treatment. That's why it's so important to approach this wisely. If you're deficient, restoring vitamin D to a healthy level under medical guidance may support your overall health and could indirectly benefit energy, sleep, and vascular function. But taking large doses without knowing your levels can be harmful. David didn't rush out and buy the biggest bottle he could find. Instead, he spoke with his doctor. A simple blood test revealed that his vitamin D level was much lower than expected. Together, they created a plan. He followed the recommended dosage. He spent a little more time outdoors in the morning sunlight. He began eating a more balanced diet. He cut back on late-night heavy meals and excessive alcohol. He started taking a short evening walk instead of sitting in front of the television until midnight. Nothing dramatic happened in the first week, nor the second, but around the fourth week he noticed something. He slept through the night for the first time in years. A few weeks later, he woke before his alarm feeling refreshed. His afternoon exhaustion slowly disappeared. And perhaps most importantly, he smiled differently. Not because someone handed him youth, but because he had begun to feel like himself again. That change wasn't created by one vitamin alone. It was the result of giving his body the support it had been asking for all along. Too often we search for complicated answers when our bodies are quietly asking for simple consistency. The greatest transformations rarely happen in a single dramatic moment. They happen one evening at a time, one healthy decision at a time, one peaceful night's sleep at a time. And sometimes, all it takes is finally listening to what your body has been trying to tell you for years. As David continued with his new routine, something unexpected happened. The improvements he noticed were no longer limited to his nights. They began to shape his mornings, his conversations, and even the way he carried himself throughout the day. One afternoon, his grandson asked him to play soccer in the backyard. A year earlier, David would have smiled politely and found an excuse. His knees felt stiff. His energy disappeared after lunch. Even standing for long periods left him wanting to sit down. But this time, he said yes. The game lasted only 20 minutes, but those 20 minutes meant more than any number on a laboratory report. His grandson wasn't measuring vitamin D levels. He wasn't thinking about hormones. He simply saw his grandfather laughing again. Sometimes the greatest gift we give our families isn't money, advice, or expensive vacations. It's our presence, our strength, our ability to truly participate in life. Many men tell themselves they only want better erections. But if we're honest, that's rarely the whole story. What they truly miss is confidence. The confidence to wake up excited about the day. The confidence to look their partner in the eyes without silently worrying about disappointment. The confidence to climb stairs without becoming breathless. The confidence to travel, to play with grandchildren, to work in the garden, to enjoy retirement instead of merely surviving it. Our bodies are remarkably interconnected. Healthy blood vessels don't only support intimate health, they nourish the brain, they support the heart, they carry oxygen to every muscle. This is why improving overall health often improves many parts of life at once. One of the biggest mistakes I see is men searching for a single miracle while ignoring the simple habits that create lasting change. Imagine trying to fill a bucket that has several holes in the bottom. You keep pouring water into it, wondering why it never fills. A vitamin alone cannot fix poor sleep habits. It cannot undo years of inactivity. It cannot overcome smoking, uncontrolled diabetes, untreated high blood pressure, or chronic stress. Those holes must also be repaired. If your goal is stronger energy and better nighttime recovery, your evening routine matters more than most people realize. Think about how you spend the final hour before bed. Many men watch stressful news. Some scroll endlessly through their phones. Others eat heavy meals late at night or consume several drinks believing alcohol helps them sleep. It may help someone fall asleep faster, but alcohol often reduces sleep quality and can lead to more nighttime awakenings. Likewise, the blue light from electronic screens and mentally stimulating content can make it harder for some people to fall asleep. Instead, imagine ending your day differently. Turn the lights down. Read a few pages from a book. Listen to calming music. Stretch gently. Practice slow breathing. Allow your mind to understand that the day is ending. Your body responds to routines more than most people realize. Consistency teaches your internal clock when it's time to rest. And when deep sleep improves, your body has more opportunity to perform the repair work it was designed to do. There is another nutrient worth mentioning because it often works hand in hand with vitamin D. That nutrient is magnesium. Magnesium plays a role in hundreds of processes throughout the body, including normal muscle and nerve function. Some evidence suggests that people with inadequate magnesium intake may experience poorer sleep or muscle cramps. However, magnesium supplements are not a cure-all, and not everyone benefits from taking them if their levels are already adequate. If you're considering magnesium, it's wise to discuss it with your healthcare provider, especially if you have kidney disease or take medications that may interact with supplements. Notice something important here. We're not chasing shortcuts. We're building foundations. Health is rarely about one dramatic decision. It's about hundreds of ordinary decisions repeated faithfully. David eventually told me something I'll never forget. He said, "I spent years hoping someone would invent a pill that could give me my old life back. What I really needed was to stop waiting and start taking care of the life I still had." Those words stayed with me, because they reveal a truth that every man over 50 should hear. Your best years are not always behind you. Yes, your body changes. Yes, recovery may take longer. Yes, some mornings are harder than they used to be. But growing older does not automatically mean growing weaker in spirit or giving up on your health. Your body has an extraordinary ability to adapt when you consistently give it what it needs. Think about a neglected garden. For years, weeds may have grown unchecked. The flowers may have disappeared. The soil may seem dry and lifeless. From a distance, someone might say the garden is finished, but a patient gardener knows differently. Remove the weeds, water the soil, feed the roots, allow sunlight to do its work. Week after week, signs of life begin to return. Not instantly, not dramatically, but faithfully. Your body deserves that same patience. If you've spent years ignoring your sleep, your nutrition, your movement, or your medical checkups, don't expect everything to change overnight. But don't underestimate what 6 months or even 1 year of consistent healthy habits can accomplish. One healthy dinner, one evening walk, one earlier bedtime, one conversation with your doctor about possible nutrient deficiencies, one step repeated over and over again. That's how lasting change is built. And perhaps the most important lesson of all is this: taking care of yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of love for your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, and for the future version of yourself who still deserves to wake up with hope, strength, and purpose. There is an old saying that the strongest trees are not the ones that grow the fastest. They are the ones whose roots reach deepest into the ground, quietly drawing strength day after day, season after season. The same is true for men. Strength is not measured only by the weight you can lift or the speed at which you can run. Real strength is waking up each morning with purpose. It is choosing healthy habits even when no one is watching. It is refusing to surrender to the belief that aging means giving up. Several months after David began caring for his health more intentionally, he met an old friend for coffee. His friend looked at him with surprise and asked, "What's different about you? Did you buy a new car? Did you win the lottery?" David laughed. "No," he replied. "I finally started investing in something much more valuable." "What was that?" "My health." His friend smiled politely, assuming there must be some secret supplement or expensive treatment behind the transformation. But David shook his head. "There wasn't one miracle," he said. "There were dozens of small decisions." That answer disappointed his friend. People often want extraordinary results from ordinary lives without making ordinary changes consistently. We are fascinated by quick fixes because patience has become rare. Yet the human body has never worked that way. Your heart beats faithfully every second, asking for nothing more than reasonable care. Your lungs continue breathing while you sleep. Your liver quietly removes waste. Your kidneys filter your blood. Your brain organizes memories from the day. Every organ is working for you, even when you hardly think about it. Isn't it remarkable that we ask so much from our bodies while often giving so little in return? Many men over 50 spend decades taking care of everyone else. They work long hours. They provide for their families. They solve problems at work. They fix things around the house. But somewhere along the way, they stop taking care of themselves. Meals become rushed. Exercise becomes optional. Sleep becomes negotiable. Medical checkups are postponed. Then one day they wonder why their body feels exhausted. The truth is, your body keeps a careful record of every choice you make, not to punish you, but to respond to you. Feed it nourishing foods and it responds. Move it regularly and it responds. Allow it restorative sleep and it responds. Ignore its needs for years and eventually it responds to that as well. One evening, David shared something deeply personal. He admitted that the hardest part of aging wasn't the gray hair or the wrinkles. It wasn't even the physical changes. It was the quiet fear that he was becoming less important. He wondered if his best memories were already behind him. Perhaps you felt that way too. Perhaps you've retired from a career that gave your life structure. Perhaps your children have grown up and started families of their own. Perhaps your home feels quieter than it once did. Sometimes what we mistake for physical fatigue is partly emotional exhaustion. The heart becomes tired before the body does. That is why true wellness is about more than vitamins. It includes purpose, connection, gratitude, hope. Research consistently shows that chronic stress can affect sleep, energy, cardiovascular health, and even sexual function. When we're under constant pressure, our bodies release stress hormones that over time may interfere with normal recovery and well-being. This doesn't mean every problem is caused by stress, but it reminds us that healing involves both the body and the mind. Think about the evenings when you carry every worry from the day into bed: bills, family concerns, health fears, regrets. Your body lies down, but your mind continues running. Deep, restorative sleep becomes difficult because your brain never receives permission to rest. What if, instead, every night became a small act of letting go? Before bed, sit quietly for 5 minutes. Breathe slowly. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be extraordinary. Perhaps the laughter of a grandchild, a meal shared with your spouse, the warmth of the morning sun, the simple privilege of waking up another day. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it changes the lens through which we see them, and a peaceful mind often prepares the body for more restful sleep. There is another lesson worth remembering. Many men hesitate to speak with their doctors about erectile dysfunction because they feel embarrassed. Please don't. Erectile dysfunction is common, especially with increasing age, and it can sometimes be an early warning sign of underlying conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, or high blood pressure. Addressing it openly with a healthcare professional can lead to treatments and lifestyle changes that improve not only sexual health, but overall health as well. Silence rarely solves medical problems. Courage often begins with a conversation. David eventually convinced his friend to schedule a complete health checkup. The results revealed high blood pressure and pre-diabetes, conditions that had gone unnoticed because he felt mostly fine. Thankfully, they were identified early. With guidance from his healthcare team, dietary improvements, regular physical activity, and appropriate treatment, his health gradually improved. Months later, he thanked David for encouraging him to act before a small problem became a serious one. That is the power of one honest conversation. Sometimes your willingness to care for yourself inspires someone else to do the same. Never underestimate that ripple effect. Your grandchildren are watching how you age. Your children are watching how you respond to challenges. Your friends are watching whether you choose hope or resignation. Every healthy decision quietly tells the people around you, life is still worth investing in. And perhaps that is the greatest legacy any man can leave. Not perfect health, not endless youth, but an example of resilience, an example of discipline, an example of gratitude, an example of refusing to let age define the limits of possibility. Because the calendar may count your years, but your daily choices shape the quality of those years. Every sunset offers another opportunity to prepare your body for tomorrow. Every evening gives you another chance to nourish yourself wisely, to rest deeply, to move closer to the healthier life you deserve. The question is not whether time will continue to pass. It certainly will. The real question is whether you will walk into tomorrow stronger, wiser, and more intentional than you were today. As the seasons continued to change, David noticed something that numbers alone could never measure. He no longer counted success by how many hours he slept. He counted it by how he felt when he opened his eyes each morning. He no longer measured life by the birthdays that had passed. He measured it by the moments he was once again able to enjoy. A quiet breakfast with his wife, a walk through the park without needing to stop every few minutes. The confidence to make plans for the future instead of worrying about what his body might not allow him to do. One evening, while sitting on the porch, he watched the sunset with his wife. They had shared decades together. They had celebrated victories, survived disappointments, raised children, and faced countless challenges side by side. She reached over, held his hand, and smiled. "You seem happier," she said softly. David looked toward the horizon before answering. I forgot that growing older and growing weaker are not the same thing. Those words carry a lesson that every man deserves to hear. Too often, society tells us that after 50, life begins to shrink. That excitement belongs to younger people. That strength belongs to younger people. That passion belongs to younger people. But life has never been measured by age alone. There are men in their 70s who wake each morning with purpose, curiosity, and gratitude. There are men in their 40s who have already surrendered hope. The difference is rarely found on a birth certificate. It is found in daily choices. Every evening offers a decision. Will tonight move you one step closer to better health, or one step farther away? Perhaps tonight is the night you decide to stop eating heavy meals just before bed. Perhaps tonight is the night you take a gentle walk after dinner. Perhaps tonight is the night you finally schedule the medical appointment you've been postponing for years. Perhaps tonight is the night you ask your doctor whether checking your vitamin D level is appropriate for you, especially if you have risk factors for deficiency. That single conversation could provide valuable guidance tailored to your health rather than relying on advice meant for everyone. Remember, while vitamin D supports many important functions in the body, more is not always better. Because it is fat-soluble, taking excessive amounts over time can lead to harmful effects, including high calcium levels, kidney problems, and other complications. That's why the safest approach is to use supplements only as recommended by your healthcare provider or according to evidence-based guidance. Wisdom is not taking the most supplements. Wisdom is knowing what your body truly needs. The same principle applies to every aspect of life. Don't chase every headline promising instant youth. Don't believe every advertisement claiming miraculous results. Your body deserves honesty, patience, and evidence-based care. Build your health the same way a craftsman builds a beautiful home. One brick at a time, one careful decision at a time, one consistent habit at a time. If you improve your sleep, you give your brain and body the opportunity to recover. If you nourish yourself with balanced meals rich in vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains, you provide the building blocks your body needs. If you stay physically active with activities appropriate for your fitness level, you help maintain healthy circulation, muscle strength, and independence. If you manage chronic conditions with the guidance of your healthcare team, you protect your future. And if you maintain meaningful relationships, laugh often, and keep learning, you nourish parts of yourself that no vitamin bottle can ever reach. Health is never only physical. It is emotional, mental, social, spiritual. The strongest men understand this. They recognize that asking for help is not weakness. Seeing a doctor is not weakness. Talking honestly with a spouse is not weakness. Making healthier choices after years of unhealthy habits is certainly not weakness. It is courage. David often reflected on one memory from his childhood. His father owned an old pocket watch. Every evening before bed, his father carefully wound the watch. As a little boy, David once asked why he did it every single night. His father smiled and replied, "Because if I care for it a little every day, it will faithfully serve me for many years." At the time, David thought his father was talking only about the watch. Decades later, he realized he had been talking about life itself. Your body is remarkably resilient. Even after years of neglect, it often responds positively when you begin treating it with kindness and consistency. No, none of us can stop the clock, but we can influence how well we live while the clock continues to tick. There is profound dignity in taking responsibility for your health. There is hope in every nutritious meal. There is strength in every walk you choose to take. There is healing in every restful night. And there is wisdom in understanding that the small decisions you make tonight will become the quality of your tomorrows. If you've been waiting for the perfect moment to begin, consider this your invitation. Not to become 25 again, not to chase impossible promises, but to become the healthiest version of the man you are today. Your family doesn't need a perfect man. They need you, present, energetic, hopeful, able to share conversations, laughter, hugs, adventures, and memories for as many years as possible. And you deserve that life just as much as they deserve you. So tonight, before you turn off the light, pause for a moment. Ask yourself one simple question. What is one healthy choice I can make before I fall asleep? Maybe it's setting your phone aside a little earlier. Maybe it's skipping that late-night snack. Maybe it's preparing for tomorrow's walk. Maybe it's deciding to speak with your doctor about your sleep, your energy, your erectile health, or whether checking for nutrient deficiencies, including vitamin D, is appropriate for you. Never underestimate the power of one thoughtful decision, because one decision becomes one habit becomes a healthier lifestyle, and a healthier lifestyle becomes a life filled with greater strength, deeper rest, renewed confidence, and countless moments that once seemed out of reach. Your future is not written by your age, it is written by the choices you continue to make, one evening, one sunrise, and one hopeful day at a time. The journey we've shared today is not really about a single vitamin. It is about something far more powerful. It is about refusing to let fear write the next chapter of your life. Every wrinkle tells a story. Every gray hair represents experience. Every challenge you've overcome has shaped the man you are today. So don't allow temporary fatigue to convince you that your best years are behind you. Don't allow one difficult season to make you believe your body has given up on you. Your body has carried you through decades of work, sacrifice, responsibility, and love. Perhaps now is the time to return that kindness. Take care of it, listen to it, respect it. If you're over 50, remember this. Lasting health doesn't come from chasing miracles, it comes from building daily habits. If you're wondering whether vitamin D or any other supplement is right for you, speak with your healthcare provider, especially if you have ongoing symptoms like poor sleep, low energy, or erectile difficulties. The right plan is the one that's tailored to your health, not someone else's. And before we say goodbye, I want to leave you with one final thought. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. You wake up before the alarm. Your mind feels clear. Your body feels lighter. You walk with confidence. You smile more often. You laugh with your family. You embrace your loved ones without carrying the invisible weight of exhaustion. That future doesn't begin next year. It doesn't begin next month. It begins tonight, with one healthier choice. Then another tomorrow, and another the day after that. Small steps taken consistently create extraordinary lives. If this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a father, a brother, a husband, a friend, or any man over 50 who may need this reminder today. Sometimes a single conversation can change a life, and your decision to share this video could become the encouragement someone has been waiting for. If you found value in these words, let me know in the comments by writing, "Tonight, I choose my health." That simple sentence isn't just a comment, it's a promise to yourself. A promise that your age will never define your determination. A promise that you will care for the body that has carried you this far. A promise that every new morning is another opportunity to become stronger, wiser, healthier, and more grateful than the day before. Until we meet again, take care of your body, protect your peace, cherish the people you love, and never forget this. Growing older is a privilege. Growing healthier is a choice. And that choice is still in your hands. Thank you for spending this time with me. I wish you peaceful nights, renewed strength, good health, and many joyful years ahead. Stay hopeful, stay consistent, and remember, your greatest investment will always be the care you give yourself today for the life you want to live tomorrow.